whole family. I'll have them later. Happy autumn, everyone. Is that a thing? I think it is. I quite like this time of year, don't I? I like it. And a lot of people now, everything changes in autumn, doesn't it? People start talking more about, the equinox and different fashions. But really, the way that we should mark the seasons is purely by what's on telly. All right, because as soon as the Bake Off's back on, I'm like that. Right, that's it. Christmas. It's all over. Just the mere beep beep from Strictly. I'm arguing with my mum about how long to get the sprouts for on Christmas Day. It's like a Pavlovian response. Are we all Bake Off fans in the house? Yes. Of course we are. What a stupid. Why do I even bother asking that? Get out. I love the show. I absolutely love it. I think it's almost getting to the point where it's getting so popular that it's going to overtake football. And they're going to start showing it in pubs on Saturday afternoon. Massive blokes on the wall. Did you see that cheesecake? It was clearly overbaked back in the oven. And the press love it, don't they? They absolutely love it, and they go mad about it. They get slightly hyperactive, but like me now. They go slightly mad about it and start saying really stupid stuff like, well, Britain is in the throes of a baking revolution. Not really, love. It's only the second storming of the Bastille, is it? We're making a bit of shortbread. We'll get Mary Berry rampaging through the streets, massive rolling pin in her hand, little Cath Kidston tea towel over her face, rampaging through the streets of 17th, 18th century Paris, going, oi, France! I'll tell you what, France! When our peasants eat cake, at least it's homemade. Not sure why Mary Berry's been voiced by Ray Winston there. I can only apologise. But it's a high-stress thing, the Bake Off, as is MasterChef and all the cooking shows, made even more so by the fact that judges make it massively life and death. Well, Paul, she has got to get this right. Yes, Mary, she has. There is nothing worse than a collapsed souffle. I think, come on, just go into Iceland, you find everything they sell is worse than a collapsed souffle. The perspective there. I love Nigella, as a woman, I love Nigella. I think she embodies everything I'd like to eat. I do like it, but if there's one thing that I don't need from my food, it's that it's been prepared in a sexually arousing way. Not really necessary, is it? You'd never catch Delia licking gravy seductively off the inside of a casserole dish, would you? No. Come on, remember where you are. I always think at the end of every episode of her cooking show, they should have kind of in memoriam thing at the end, to loving memory of all the cameramen that wanked themselves to death during the making of this series. My respect for her kind of went up when she had to go to court last year, and she strolled in looking all perfect and beautiful, and her ex-husband, had tried to smear her with allegations of cocaine taking. And she stood there in the dock and she said, well, honestly, do I look like a drug addict? And I thought, well, let's just think about this for a minute. You are filmed at the end of every episode of your show, raiding the fridge at midnight for anything you can find. Yes, you do. Nigella is the kind of name, a little bit like Lavinia, I guess. That it kind of tells you what kind of person you are, doesn't it, Auntie? Does it? I think so. It tells people exactly what kind of background you're from, maybe grew up in the colonies, that kind of thing. People often accuse my name's Katie, quite a kind of normal, every man, every girl kind of name. But people do accuse me of being quite posh. But actually, I'm not compared to a lot of people. I'll tell you why. Reason number one: I don't have any money. So not till the trust fund comes through when I'm 21. Shut up. That is a joke, obviously. It's 25, leave it. And until such a time that I do inherit great riches, I'm stuck in Streatham forever. But I quite like Streatham. I'm quite distressed by this. We've just opened a wine bar like a week ago in Streatham Wine House, it's called. Those are three words that never ever belong together. And prior to that, the only sign of our economic prosperity was that our Poundland had to move to bigger premises. It was doing so well. But that was really also because there was a fire. That's the only reason it had to move. There was a fire there. There was 56 quid's worth of damage. Reason number two, I'm not that posh. I do find pheasant a bit gamey, don't you? I'm not embarrassed to admit that. Even the little Crow's Hermitage 2007. Much more of a guinea fowl fan, aren't we all? But if I do fancy a bit of posh food, what I'll do is I'll nip into Harrods and try stuff. And sample desk over there. And I noticed that when I was there last time, the man serving in Harrods Food Hall had the words love and hate tattooed onto his knuckles, which I found aggressive. People I did. My mistake, I looked again, I realised what he'd actually put was love pate. Huge relief there. Reason number 3 why I'm not that posh, I don't have a really stupid nickname, I don't. All those kind of guys in the red jeans with stand-up collars, they all have quite normal birth names. No, they don't go with those. They will name each other something quite kind of genitalia-based and sexually aggressive, all right? Like sort of dickhead and cockface and wanker, that sort of stuff. You go to any bank in the city of London and shout, "Oi, dickhead!" 200 guys will look up and go, "You're a really good friend of mine, yeah." I was at school with his brother. But then interestingly, the girls from those kind of set, that they will go the other way totally, and they'll name each other something you might have named your first pet guinea pig, like sort of Fluffy and Twinkle and Woofy, that sort of thing. So when you put them together, so they do not date outside their circle, they don't. So when you put them together, it makes for some quite odd couples, doesn't it? Like, yeah, we're going round for dinner tonight with Arse Crack and Binky. Are you going to Tosser and Twinkle's wedding? That's a bit marvellous. Neil was talking before about a previous life before comedy. Before I was an unbelievably successful comedian, please, I was a very unsuccessful advertising executive. We've got one PR person in the family. Anyone else work in media? That kind of. Oh, hello. What do you do?
I do project management, but I also do creative.
That sounds really great. Project management of anything, I don't care what it is, it just sounds really grown up and responsible. Well done. I'm quite embarrassed about what I used to do, and I tell you what, I would not be seen dead with anybody that I used to work with. So quite like Victoria Beckham in that respect. Every now and again when my old companies run out of money or they need a bit of attention, they'll ring me up going, "Oh, come back, it'll be great." I'm like, "No, I'm far too successful with my fashion line." No. So it's David and the kids, so I don't see them enough. But I did have to leave my old job after a row with a client where I suggested to him that perhaps in 21st century multicultural Britain, always using a blonde model was not such a great idea. And I was told the Andrex puppy is supposed to look like that. Could have shut up. But I'm kind of old enough to have been able to get that job by mistake. This is the bygone era, the halcyon days of not really meaning to get a job. I know you young and don't even want to hear that. You could have gone around anyone in my office and asked them how they got there. I couldn't have told you. "Oh, Dave, you've been here for 10 years. How did you get the job?" "I don't know, and I popped out some fags." "Bob, I don't even work here." But now, you've got lots of students in the room, you can actually study media and marketing and communications, all that sort of rubbish. And I always think, sorry, but they are. I always think you could study those kind of things at those sort of places that you see advertised on the bus. Really sort of cheap, slightly too small sticker at the top with a picture of a guy in quite an ill-fitting suit, looking as happy as someone that's just opened a bag of wine gums to discover there's no green ones in there. And over the top of this happy scene is just one slogan saying, "University of Slough. Be the best." And I look at that and I think, yeah, if I went there, I probably would be. So that's awful, I apologise. Hands up, intellectual snob, it's awful. I've got quite high standards in that respect, so I'll only watch Loose Women if Carol Vorderman's presenting it. I go to Lidl for the Parmesan, that kind of thing. But by far, the worst campaign I ever worked on during that time was for Oasis, the soft drink. There it goes, which is owned by the evil Coca-Cola company. And if you know, it's basically like a shit Ribena, okay? But they didn't like that, so we had to think something else. And we had to study the product. It's sugar and water in a plastic bottle. That's all it is. So a more realistic slogan would have been Oasis contributing to obesity, tooth decay, an unnecessary landfill. They didn't like that either. So what we had to go for in the end was Oasis for people who don't like water. You know, the stuff that keeps you alive? Horrible stuff, horrible stuff. And I did have someone at a show say, oh, I don't like water. I said, well, why don't you? She said, oh, I only drink it if I'm thirsty. And you just think, when 20% of the world doesn't have access to any clean water at all, we won't drink ours unless it tastes of artificial fruit. It's kind of mad, isn't it? Because it's just air in liquid form, that's all it is. You don't get people saying they won't breathe in unscented air, like huddled over a Glade plug-in, like, I cannot breathe in and out without the scent of woodland pine. Yeah. Massive can of Lynx Africa strapped to their back. You wouldn't get the Comic Relief success story video where finally the village gets its first standpipe. A little kid goes up with his glass and he turns on the tap. All excited, puts a glass to his lips and he turns very angry to the Comic Relief production team and goes, "This is not apple and blackcurrant." I am bookable via Ocado, if you'd like to see me again.